I'm gonna die.
Cosmic Spider-Man, Spidey's god version who can do pretty much anything. Marvel's Spider-Man has always been the type to rely on his wits and agility in his fights instead of his strength. Being a super smart guy really helps him out in every situation as he goes against armed villains who are often stronger than him when it comes to his brute strength. But what happens when it gets the power of a god? You don't have to imagine it, because Spider-Man has in fact had a run as an entity with godly powers. And what looked like an accident wasn't even an accident, as he was literally the chosen one. Amped with cosmic powers, Cosmic Spider-Man has had his gallery of rogues and a chokehold. In this video, we will get down to the extent and the mysteries of this insane power. But before diving into the content, we would like to make a very small request to our viewers. Please subscribe to Marvelous Videos, like and comment on our videos, and press the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload a video. We would be grateful to you, and we hope to bring you the best nerdy content. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Origin of Cosmic Spider-Man. Spidey truly peaked with this enormous power amp that initially seemed to have come from nowhere. A huge mystery surrounded the source of Spider-Man's new cosmic powers, which was gradually revealed over an agonizing period of time. However, this is where the video comes in handy, as we're going to break down the origin of Cosmic Spider-Man. It all began in a spectacular Spider-Man issue number 158. The Dr. Max Loop, a professor at Empire State University, required Peter Parker's assistance for one of his latest inventions. This machine was created to gain access to a mysterious extra-dimensional energy, which, as you can already guess, is the source for Spidey's cosmic powers. As Peter helped the professor out, he couldn't help but be concerned over their safety, lest the machine overloads, and this anxiety turns into reality. Peter realizes that the device is about to explode, but is quick to push the professor away from the line of fire. Meanwhile, he takes a direct hit of the energy source blast, which would have killed any ordinary human. Instead of being weakened by intercepting such a strong force, Peter experiences a glow that surrounds his body. This new energy gave him an absurd amount of power boost, the mysteries of which Peter is oblivious to. His spider sense was always good at sensing danger. However, it grows so strong that it overwhelms Spider-Man. He can subtly sense every little thing around him as it begins to scream, making Spider-Man terribly uncomfortable with this new ability. He looks out of the window and notices how the device's overloads and explosion has caused a short circuit in the nearby power lines. With students walking the streets, they'd directly be of risk of being electrocuted, but the wires seem to be out of control. Spider-Man grabs it with his hands, and instead of being fried, his body seems to absorb the electricity without causing him any physical damage at all. Once again, his spider senses go wild, and from miles away, he senses an old enemy from the same morning, the Trapster. In their previous fight, the Trapster had made a complete fool out of Spider-Man as his paced power, but Spider-Man in his webbing at a huge disadvantage. Plus, he had humiliated the wall crawler in front of his wife, Mary Jane. So Spidey had to settle the score for the sake of his pride, and this time, he was different. As Spidey appears, the Trapster readies himself for the rematch and attacks with the missile. Spider-Man tries to use his webs to redirect the missile. However, the webbing adapts itself into the silhouette of a strong palm, and it crushes the missile, implying that Spider-Man can pretty much control the webbing with his mind. Spider-Man also uses Energy Blast to attack the Trapster, which is something he couldn't do before, and ultimately emerges victorious. He has no idea about what in the world is going on, but he has actually gained the powers of Captain Universe. So you might be wondering who Captain Universe is. Captain Universe is no person at all. He is a guardian who protects eternity. In fact, he is a sentient energy field called the Unipower, which is what the professor had tapped into. The Unipower works by seeking out people in danger and merging with them. When a person intercepts the energy, thus becoming the host, they turn into this super powerful cosmic being with powers that could rival the likes of Shazam and maybe even Superman. However, the Unipower also has a source, something called the Enigma Force. You might be aware of the Microverse, a subatomic universe, you know, the one they talk about in MCU's Ant-Man and refers to as the quantum realm. The Enigma Force is like an invisible force that fills the microverse, while the Unipower is simply a facet of it. Around 14 billion years ago, the Celestials brought the Enigma Force. It was the god of light, which spent billions of years in war against the dark god Null. Initially, it dissipated its powers by bonding with several individuals. Instead of being at an advantage, it weakened the Enigma Force in the fight, as its power was now spread out quite thinly. And so, it began to choose similar hosts to give its power to, turning them into Captain Universe. The Enigma Force belongs to its universe. However, the Marvelverse is a multiverse. So, if a host were to travel from one universe to the other, they'd have to leave their power stemming from the Uniforce behind. The other thing about the Uniforce is that since it is sentient energy, it has its own will. The host cannot use it for acts of evil, even if they try to, because the Enigma Force is essentially the god of light. Amazing storyline of Cosmic Spider-Man. We move to the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 328 and 329. Here, the Cosmic Spider-Man really maxes out with his powers and learns the secrets that come with it. Spider-Man makes an enemy out of a rogue Hulk and Sebastian Shaw. Here, the Hulk goes through a complicated situation where Banner takes over the body and the mind during the day while the Rage for Hulk comes out at night. Shaw recruits Hulk to take down the friendly neighborhood turned Cosmic Spider-Man. We see Spider-Man with a new mode of transport now. He doesn't use his webbing to swing himself from one skyscraper to another, and instead fashions wings for himself with his webs to fly. While he fights terrorists, he is even shown to be changing his web into adminium as he uses the ability to contain a bomb blast. Throughout the issue, Spider-Man deals with his powers being too much for him to handle. Recently, he had almost killed the Goliath. At the same time, his spider senses have grown to become so strong that it seems to be actively affecting his quality of life. All of this is made worse when the Hulk attacks the city as Shaw drops him from a helicopter to Manhattan. Spider-Man rushes to the scene of action to protect the civilians and stop the Hulk's rampage. Here, both the Hulk and Shaw are unaware of how strong Spider-Man has gotten, so they are both taken aback when Spider-Man manages to slam the Hulk into a building. The Hulk reveals that he has been paid to attack Spider-Man, but soon after, his body begins to change. As New York City was in a different time zone, morning came earlier for the Hulk than he anticipated. As Bruce Banner took over the body, the Hulk postponed the fight for the next night on Roosevelt Island and evaded the scene. The next day, the Hulk once again staggers against the wall crawler. The people are shocked at Spider-Man's new powers, and so are the Hulk and Sebastian Shaw. He temporarily blinds the Hulk with his beams of light and kicks him so far away that the Hulk soars into the sky and literally leaves the Earth. Cosmic Spider-Man catches up as he has to bring the Hulk back to Earth, otherwise he will die. But it's insane how Spider-Man can literally send the Hulk to space, then voluntarily go there and survive outside the Earth's atmosphere. He even wonders whether this version of him is capable of dying or not. Meanwhile, Shaw finds himself concerned over Spider-Man suddenly being abnormally superpowered and feels the need to devise a plan that will bring the wall crawler down. In the next issue, Shaw brings out his Sentinel robots to end Spider-Man. He has also been on the lookout for the source of Spider-Man's powers and has learned from his scientists that he gained them on the day he assisted Dr. Max Lubisch with his energy field device experiment, which subsequently exploded. It's easy to connect two and two together to determine that this experiment is where it all began, so Shaw decides to visit the professor. He forces and threatens Dr. Lubisch into creating a machine that will strip Spidey of his cosmic powers. At the same time, the villain Graviton, who uses gravity to fight, finds Spider-Man to kill him. From space, Loki casts a spell to bring his acts of vengeance scheme into fruition. The magic binds Shaw's Sentinels together, creating a Tri-Sentinel, which Spider-Man learns of soon enough due to his out-of-control spider senses. He evades from his fight with Graviton by blasting him away with his energy field and heads to the Tri-Sentinel. At the same time, Shaw tries to take him down with the portal energy projector made by Dr. Lubisch, which turns out to be a bad idea for the villain. Not only does Spider-Man not lose his powers, but he comes into consciousness about it all as it is finally unlocked. He learns about the Unipower and being Captain Universe as the sentient memories finally reach him. He realized that he was chosen to be the host by the Unipower to stop the Tri-Sentinel from killing thousands of people by destroying a nuclear power plant. So, the accident with Dr. Lubisch's device didn't give him the powers out of the blue. It is also revealed that the accident actually blocked him from gaining the knowledge about being Captain Universe and the Unipower, whereas the beams created to take away the powers unlocked the very thing it tried to eradicate. Of course, with this, his whole get-up changes and his costume begins to look like an out-of-space universal hero like he actually is right now. Spider-Man manages to overpower the Tri-Sentinel with the powers of Captain Universe. Shaw gets worried and sends the Sentinels into a state of inertia to self-destruct. Meanwhile, Spider-Man channels the entirety of his cosmic powers and blasts the Tri-Sentinel into bits. However, destroying the Tri-Sentinels also rips Spider-Man off his powers as the Unipower's objective has been achieved. How powerful is Cosmic Spider-Man? This guy has a lot of powers and a lot of hacks. Not only do his pre-existing abilities get immensely boosted with some spicy cosmic energy into the mutant mix, Spidey also gains an array of new abilities that put him on par with someone like Superman. Apart from the obvious one like super strength, this guy is literally invulnerable. The cosmic powers give him indestructible skin that can handle being in the vacuum of space and bolts of electricity. Black holes, supernovas, and any physical attack basically did nothing against him. His stamina stats are off the charts, as well as he will never get tired. Then, we have the insane feat that is matter manipulation. His biggest flex becomes his creativity with molding his webbing into adminium or fists. He can control the webbing with his mind and even use it to fly. On top of that, he has complete control over the forces of nature, such as the nuclear forces, the electromagnetic forces, and the gravitational force. He can even use the forces to generate energy beams with his mere hands, and these beams are strong enough to take down planets, so that makes him a Diet Goku. Matter manipulation manipulation branches out into several other super cool abilities, and Cosmic Spider-Man can control it all. He can phase through solid matter, accelerate evolution, time travel, create force fields, travel across dimensions, read minds, suppress mutant abilities, and heal living beings back to heal from near death. Cosmic Spider-Man's powers allow him to sustain himself without eating or breathing. His skin absorbs cosmic energy to do so. This is one of the factors that allow him to sustain himself in space, where living beings cannot breathe. You can't forget that the Enigma Force is basically the god of light, so absorbing the uni power gives him speed so immense that he can almost touch the speed of light by a whopping 99%. All of this might sound super cool, but one of its most annoying amps has been the heightening of Spider-Man's cosmic senses. He is aware of the smallest change around him. A drop of water might fall from a pipe to the ground anywhere in the world and Spidey will still sense it. And this has been quite a paralyzing experience for him and has done more harm than good. A more useful amp out of this world be the Univision, which allows him to see far and wide, light years away and down to the subatomic particles. His superhuman hearing rivals that of Superman. On a day-to-day level, these powers often did more harm than good, with Spidey accidentally almost killing people and his social life taking a hit as he tried to unravel the source of his power. But ultimately, he was able to use it to fulfill its objective before reverting back to the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. What did you think of Cosmic Spider-Man? Did you enjoy this video? If yes, then don't forget to like and comment on the video. Till then, goodbye and have a nice one.